welcome to V Radio News at 7. We're blessing you. First, the top stories. Paswade Workers' Day. Federal government declares Monday public holiday. Senate President say coalition kicks against zoning seek law 1 continuity. Pastor Adeboye meets Adeleke, anoints him. Yobe University student slumps, dies after writing exam. Fear grips citizens as armed men resume killing in Plateau communities. In foreign saying Sudan, 7,000 including Nigerians stranded at Egypt border. In business news tonight, federal government plans supplementary budget as NEC suspends subsidy removal. In sport, IG hails victory of female police combat athletics in EFC 102. And on entertainment tonight, examine your partner's breast before sucking, expert tells men. Now the news in detail. The federal government has declared Monday, 1st of May, as a public holiday to mark this year's Workers' Day celebration. The Minister of Interior, Ralph Aregbesola, made this declaration on behalf of the federal government. Aregbesola, in a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Shoaib Belgore, on Friday, commended workers for their hard work, diligence and sacrifice, noting that their efforts are largely responsible for the greatness of the country and the respect Nigeria now commands in the community of nations. The minister said, "There is dignity in labor. We have to have dedication and commitment to the work we do, because it is vital to nation building." He enjoined workers to imbibe the culture of productivity, saying the end of work is productivity. It is productivity that leads to satisfactory provision of goods and services and wealth creation. It is therefore the path to national and individual prosperity. The minister urges workers to raise the bar of their trade in line with the regime of the President Major General Muhammadu Buhari's drive to upgrade the vehicle of governance and making all people of Nigeria derive maximum benefits for the nation. The National Coalition of APC Support Group has called for the retention of the incumbent Senate President Ahmed Lawan, saying the zoning arrangement being proposed is unnecessary. The demand is coming in the wake of an agreement between the President-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and the All Progressive Congress governor to allow the party leadership to work harmoniously with lawmakers to avoid precipitating a leadership crisis in the 10th National Assembly. Tinubu, who spoke on Thursday, had urged governors Nasir El-Rufai, Kaduna, Hope Uzodinma, among others, to allow principal offices to be zoned instead of hand-picking consensus candidates. But the NCASG expressed strong resentment for the adoption of the zoning formula, saying it could create division and chaos in the Senate. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the chairman of the group, Yahaya Yarabo, disclosed that the Ninth Senate has witnessed some level of remarkable improvement under Lawan leadership for 4 years after it was inaugurated. Still on the news tonight, the General Overseer of Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, on Wednesday blessed and prayed for God's continued support for the Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke. This was made known in a statement signed and released by the spokesperson for the governor, Malam Olawale Rashid, which was shared on his Facebook page. Pastor Adeboye, who was accompanied by his wife and senior pastor of the RCCG while attending the inauguration of the Jennifer A2 Medical Center held at Ifewara, urged Adeleke to continue to govern with the fear of God, noting that as long as the governor continued to uphold the path of God, he would continue to earn the favor of God. Adeleke had earlier described how his governorship ambition began with the anointing and prayers of Pastor Adeboye. He said, "I remember Baba Adeboye anointed and prayed for me. His prayer for me is answered, and I'm here today as the governor of Osun State. Also on the news tonight, a student of Yobe State University, Damaturu Miriam Lawan Goroma, Thursday slumped and died shortly after writing her exams. Before her death, she was said to be healthy and hearty. A classmate of the deceased, Buka Mai Bandari, disclosed this on his Facebook account. He added that the disease suddenly collapsed and was confirmed dead shortly. He posted, I received with a heavy heart the news of the sudden death of our classmate Miriam Lawan Goroma. She was healthy and hearty until today afternoon when she suddenly collapsed and was confirmed dead shortly. May Allah grant her soul eternal rest. And lastly, on the local news, for decades, there have been repeated mass and isolated attacks by armed men on farming communities in Plateau. While this has become a tragic trend, it usually escalates during each farming season when all the farmers increase in the tempo of agricultural work on their farms. Apart from this attack against the poor rural farmers, the farming community are also ravaged by the persistent violent and religious conflicts that routinely break out in the Plateau metropolis. However, when peace building efforts by state and non-state actors are able to mitigate violence of any form, the citizens are usually happy and make efforts to guide the resulting fragile peace in the state. But recently, crisis merchants and enemies of the state and its people have resumed their isolated attacks and killings of unarmed citizens who were going about their businesses. This is even as the security agencies appear helpless in apprehending the masterminds before the strike. In the last 2 weeks, scores of people have been killed in the farming communities of Mangu, Bokos, Makin, Ladi, Jos North, and Riyon local government areas, thereby raising fear among the people in the farming communities of the state. From Rawuru community, Dampo, among other communities, families are mourning the killings of their loved ones in the night. A resident of Rawuru, Mika, said the last attack occurred about 8 p.m. on Saturday and claimed the life of Dachung Luka, who was shot dead at the Rawuru junction. Mika lamented that about the same time the following day, some armed men in transit shot and killed 2 people in the residence, and the last took place at 9 a.m. and currently the deceased are being buried. In foreign scene tonight, the federal government on Friday called on relevant authorities along contiguous borders of Sudan to create a humane condition for about 7,000 nationals, including Nigerians, to have unfettered access to their various destinations. The chairman Nigerian Diaspora Commissioner Abike Dabiri Erewa, who made this call, said the nationals were not being allowed to cross the border into Egypt since their arrival on Thursday evening. Dabiri Erewa had on Thursday confirmed the arrival of the first set of stranded Nigerians in Sudan at the Aswan border in Egypt. Dabiri Erewa, who confirmed the development in a post on Twitter, said the border was already closed when the students got there, adding that they would proceed to the airport in the morning. However, in a statement by Gabriel Odu Publicity Unit 9 NIDCOM, the chairman said the Nigerian mission in Egypt had been working tirelessly on this, as the Egyptian authority are insisting on visa before they allow Africans to transit back to their countries. She appealed to Egyptian authorities to kindly allow the already transited travelers to transit to their final destination in various countries in Africa. In business news tonight, the National Economic Council on Thursday in Abuja asked the federal government to put the June deadline for petroleum subsidy removal on hold, pending the review of existing plan to provide palliatives for Nigerians. While arguing that the petrol subsidy should not be removed now, the council said the federal government would broaden consultations with state governments and other key stakeholders such as labor unions, petroleum marketers, the Minister of Finance, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and representative of incoming administration. This expanded committee would determine if the removal can be done by June as planned, it said. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed this to a State House correspondent shortly after the valedictory NEC meeting, presided over by the Vice President Yemi Osibanjo at the chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. She said there might be a need to send a supplementary budget for the National Assembly if coming administration align with the decision to extend subsidy removal. According to Ahmed, the council has, however, agreed that the subsidy must be removed now rather than later, as the nation cannot afford it anymore. She noted that 2023 budget provide for subsidy only up to June 2023. More so, the provision of the Petroleum Industry Act requires the deregulation of several sectors 18 months after the effective date of the subsidy removal. Therefore, the federal government agreed to expand the committee to consider removal process, including determination of the exact time and measure to be taken to support the poor and the vulnerable in the state. In sports news tonight, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Kali Baba, has hailed Nigerian Police Force Multi-Tertius Combat Athletics Juliet Oka for a successful training tour and her victory over South African Krista Wiig to win the Extreme Fighting Championship 102. The Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi disclosed this in a statement on Friday. The fight, which took place on Thursday, April 13th in Johannesburg, South Africa, was a 3-round bout, and Juliet showed all-round superiority to emerge the winner by unanimously decision 30-26, 30-26, 30-30, 27, which she also defeated Claudia Shivabo IMBGIM FC of Cameroon on Saturday, April 22. The IG commended Uka for making the Nigerian police force and the nation proud and vowed to continually discover and showcase new talent in the police force. And lastly tonight is the entertainment news. A public health physician and chief executive officer of First Michelle Consultancy Service, Dr. Festus Adetunwa, has advised men to examine their wife's breasts before sucking them. He said there could be discharge from the breast like blood, which men should always watch out for when engaging in the act. He said this at the grand finale of 3-day health safety and environmental management workshop facilitated by the Industry Training Fund for the Punch staff members on Friday. Speaking against the backdrop of rising cases of breast cancer and how a woman can be on the lookout for possible symptoms, Adetunwa said most men don't examine their wife's breasts before sucking them because they mainly engage in sexual acts at night time and may unknowingly take in discharge into their mouths, which could be a sign of breast cancer. Speaking further on the prevention of breast cancer, he encouraged women to engage in prolonged breastfeeding. And that's the news. Before we go, a recap of the top stories. Workers' Day, federal government declares Monday public holiday. Senate presidency coalition kicks against zoning, seek law on continuity. Pastor Adeboye meets Adeleke, anointing. University students long dies after writing exams. Fear grips citizens as armed men resume killing in Plateau community. In foreign scene tonight, we hear 7,000, including Nigerians, stranded at Egypt border. In business, federal government plans supplementary budget as NEC suspends subsidy removal. In sports tonight, IG hails victory of female police combat athletes in EFC 102. And lastly is entertainment news. Examine your partner's breast before sucking, expert tells men. And that's the news. Thanks to executive producer Mr. Tony Adesuji. Thanks for watching and do have a blessed weekend ahead.